Well, welcome to Beat Diabetes, and I want to welcome my wife back to Beat Diabetes. They haven't seen you in a while, have they?
No, they have not seen me for a while,
Now, if you need a fix of Benedicta, you can always tune into our Bible teaching channel on Thursdays, where they'll see her every Thursday, along with me. But on Beat Diabetes, it's been a while.
But I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and we are... If we've got some pretty sharp people in our audience, and I know we do, I know that by the comments they leave, but they should have figured out that this video has something to do with avocados. Look at these big babies.
Yep.
And, avocados remind me of a pastor we know. He's from Kenya, but the event happened in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Pastor Alex, you remember Pastor Alex?
I know him.
It's been some years since we've seen Pastor Alex. If you're watching, Pastor, God bless you. We love you. But I remember we were in Tanzania, and he said, he told our driver to stop. He wanted to buy us some avocados. I was kind of surprised. Usually we're buying the pastor's food, and he wanted to buy us something. So he bought us several avocados.
Yeah.
But those things were monsters, weren't they?
Yeah.
Giant. I mean, about the size of an ostrich egg.
They were big.
Much bigger than these, and these are bigger than you typically buy at the store.
Yeah.
But this is what I'd call a medium size. A lot of times you get the small size.
Yeah.
He bought us big avocados, which was a blessing because, number one, I liked them, and number two, they're filling. With my low-carb diet, a lot of times there's not too much I can eat when I go to Africa. So anyway, we love avocados. We put them in salads. We have them on their own, which we're going to do today. But today we're going to do something you've never done and I've never done. Okay. We're going to have a meal of 3, count them, 1, 2, 3
Yeah, this
avocados.
is unusual.
I've never in my life.
For the first time, this is our first time of doing this. Why are we doing this, Dennis?
Why are we doing, all right. Well, actually, this video is not just about avocados. It's also about a concept known as net carbs. Net carbs.
Okay.
And to kind of illustrate the net carbs, we're going to do a little role play real fast. It won't take long at all. But Benedicta, I want you to hold this and pretend like you're a schoolgirl and someone has just given you a present of 14 pens. You got 8 blue and 6 red, 14 total.
I would love it.
And you're going to come into the schoolroom and you're going to be so proud of your 14 pens.
Carrying it like this?
Yeah, carrying it, showing it off. And I'm going to be kind of the school, not really a bully, but someone who kind of
Please
likes
don't be
to
the principal.
rains on people's parade. So you come in and just start bragging about your pens to me and to all the invisible classmates.
Oh, this is my pen given to me. I love it. It's kind of blue, and blue is my color. I love it. And red, who can go wrong with it? Okay, see, somebody just gave me a gift, and this is the marvelous gift I got this morning as I was going to school, so I had to proudly bring it to school, everyone. This is it.
And how many pens do you have there? 14. 14, she says. But I come along with a sneer. Oh, you don't really have 14. You only have 8 pens. And why do I say that? Because the red pens don't work. So I'm going to pull out all these red pens, and now you're going to see what you really have. You have 8 pens that work. These do not work. They don't write. They are essentially non-pens, although they look like pens. And actually, in truth, they do write, but we're going to pretend like they don't. So I pulled out the ones that don't work and left you with the ones that do. Now, what does that have to do with net carbs and beating diabetes? Well, there's a strong idea. I almost said theory, but in a way it's more than a theory.
Okay.
That the red pens represent the net carbs, which means you pull out the fiber out of a food because they're not going to affect blood sugar. If you're the basic thing a diabetic is concerned about is how will this food affect my blood sugar?
Yeah.
So, for example, this medium avocado has about 15 grams of carbs to it.
Okay.
But 3 of those grams are 12 of those grams or so, this is approximate and it depends on the size, but about 11 to 12 of those grams are fiber. And the theory is, or the idea is, or the dogma, or what people will tell you, some, not all, is that those carbs, those fiber carbs are like the red pens. They don't work. They don't do anything. They won't jack up your blood sugar. So what that means is an avocado really is not a low-carb food.
It's a protein, right?
It's got fat.
Food.
It's got carbs, but most of the carbs are fiber.
Okay.
So according to the theory, they should not jack up blood sugar much at all. One of the odd things I have found YouTubers that are big into the keto diet, and they will say, don't pay attention to net carbs, just count your real carbs.
Okay.
And net carbs don't mean anything one way or the other, so you just include them. But they will go ahead and tell you that an avocado is a good keto food. Yeah. The reality is, folks, you heard it first on Beat Diabetes, an avocado is not a keto food if you don't count net carbs, because this avocado has maybe 15 grams of carbs. We're going to eat 3 of these.
It's a lot.
And or maybe it's 13, 14. The carbs we're going to get is more than this candy bar. This candy bar has like 33 grams of carbs.
Okay.
These are going to have around 40 grams of carbs if you don't include the net carbs. So theoretically, you might say, well, this is going to be worse on blood sugar, these 3, than the candy bar. But will it indeed? That's the question.
Really?
We need some mysterious music right now to kind of make a big mystery out of this.
Okay.
Will all these 3, pick up all 3 of your avocados.
Okay.
Feels like a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now put them down. And hold this little candy bar.
Hello, little candy.
Little fella. Doesn't feel like so much, does it?
It doesn't feel too much. It's a little one.
So you might suppose that the 3 avocados are going to send your blood sugar much higher.
Okay.
And they probably would if it were not for the fact that most of their carbs are fiber carbs.
Okay.
Now, I don't want you to take Dennis's opinion for it.
Yeah.
Nor do I want them to take
my opinion,
Benedicta's opinion for it. Or even the combined power of Den and Ben. And that's a lot of power, right?
It's a lot of power.
No, sir. No, ma'am. We've tested ourselves already. We're going to see what kind of a spike we get. Now, some people say, I go by total carbs.
Yeah.
And others will growl back, grrr. I go by net carbs. Total carbs, net carbs, total carbs, net carbs. But what do I go by? I really don't go by.
What do you go by, Dennis?
I don't go by either, really.
What?
Sometimes people will say, well, how many carbs do you eat per day? And I don't answer net. I don't answer total. Usually I just say, I just keep my spikes nice and low.
Yeah, we just...
That's going to keep my carbs pretty low.
Check it all out.
What I go by is Mike carbs.
Mike the meter, huh? Mike
the glucose meter tells me, sometimes he's like, that's not working for me. And I got, sorry, Mike, didn't mean to offend you. I won't eat that again. Other times I eat something like this, which I'm pretty sure is not going to have too much effect on my blood sugar. And Mike's going to give me a big old smile and say, Den, you did all right.
Okay.
Even though the total carbs of these 3 is more than this candy bar. Well, they're in suspense, right?
Yeah,
we're going to have to wait a while. We're going to have to eat these. We're going to have to wait an hour. We're going to test, wait another hour, test again, and see what happens. You won't have to wait so long because of the power and magic of video editing. You're going to see it in a hurry.
We're going to eat it with water, right?
Well, we'll drink some water, and I'll probably have some coffee. When I do tests, I usually will have coffee, but no sugar in it. And the coffee doesn't seem to affect me much.
Yeah.
So we'll drink a little water, maybe have a little coffee, and we'll see what these 3 avocados do to our blood sugar. And do they give us a monster spike, a medium spike, or a scrawny little, hardly notice it kind of a spike?
Well, it's like afternoon now. We're eating it for lunch, and we've not eaten anything. Food since morning. We just drank some coffee in the morning.
And why are we having such a late lunch? Can you tell us why this lunch is so late?
No, I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't talk about it.
Okay, just we may have had someone that spent a lot of time getting ready, but we won't say anything about that.
You just said it, Dennis.
I didn't say.
You did.
I didn't say your name.
You did, Dennis.
I didn't say Benedicta. It could have been me.
Now you are calling my name again.
We'll see you in a little bit. We are back. Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been some time.
But for them, no time at all.
Yeah.
So go ahead and share your numbers. But before you do, let me just ask you, were you surprised or is this about what you expected?
I was surprised.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, start with the pre-test and tell us how you did. We did a pre-test. We did a 1 hour after eating test and a 2 hours after eating test.
Yeah.
Tell us what you got.
So for me, the pre-test was 106. And then after 1 hour, I was like 92. And after 2 hours, I was 93, which, is surprised. Like when you eat, your level supposed to be going up.
That's what people assume.
Right. But for this, it was really going down, which is like the food is not bad.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, we ate a lot. I mean,
I know.
We both said if this wasn't for diabetes, we wouldn't be eating this third one.
Yeah.
We might eat 2. We wouldn't eat 3. We were getting full.
Yeah.
So to eat that much and have it go down instead of up.
Yeah. It was great.
That's got to say something about the power of net carbs. Keep in mind, this is about as well. This is more than a candy bar in terms of pure carbs, but most of those are fiber. In my case, started out at 96 for the pre-test. 1 hour after the meal, I scored a 92, identical with my wife. And 2 hours after the meal, I was at 96. So you beat me on that one, didn't you?
Beat him on that one.
So, when I saw our scores, I thought it kind of reminds me of a little lost boy who's wandering around trying to find mama. And he wanders here and there, and he ends up right back where he started.
Okay.
So our blood sugar was kind of like that, just a little lost boy that wandered around and ended up almost exactly where it started. In fact, yours ended up better than it started.
Yeah, mine's better.
I pulled out some information from a book I wrote called You Can Achieve Normal Blood Sugar. And I did a test for that book, and I drank a Pepsi. And the Pepsi had about 41 grams of carbs, almost identical to those 3 avocados. So same amount of carbs. But with the Pepsi, I jumped up 75 points after 1 hour.
Okay.
So that's a real spike. We had no spike. You had sort of a reverse spike by just a little bit, not a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So there's got to be something going on with all that fiber to eat that many carbs, about 40, and no spike at all. That fiber's got to be doing something for sure. So that is it for now. Hope you enjoyed this and hope we'll see you again sometime. Say goodbye to all our Beat Diabetes folks.
Thank you for watching, and I'm saying goodbye. And just want to let you know, if you like it, you can try it. You may not really eat 3 of it, but you can eat 2 or 1. But if you like it, you can come back and tell us, by commenting below, yes, I loved it. And this is what my reaction was. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Probably most of you know my wife Benedicta, but few of you know the amazing paths God has led her to bring her to where she is today. Benedicta was orphaned at an early age and lived with an elderly stepmother growing to adolescence. They were so poor, Benedicta had to drop out of school and sell food door to door for them to survive. As a teen, Benedicta got a job as a housemaid, which developed into a nightmare. She was required to cook, clean, wash, take care of the children, and she had to get up at 4 a.m. every day just to get her work started. Worse than that, she was frequently beaten. At around 20, she moved to the huge city of Lagos, where she started her own little business. Sometimes she prospered, but at other times she nearly starved and went days at a time without eating. At one point, she became so sick she passed out in her room and nearly died. She found herself outside of her body, and she was able to see the splendors of heaven until she was sent back with a command to share her story. One day, however, her life changed when an American evangelist came to her community to preach. And of course, that was me. The rest, as they say, is history. Benedicta has shared her life story in a recently published autobiography, and you can get it on Amazon as either an ebook or a paperback. A link to this book on Amazon is in the description.